If your thighs hold fat no matter how little you eat, no matter how much you walk, and no matter how many workouts you try, this isn't a willpower problem. It's a signal problem. And today I'm going to show you one single low-impact exercise you can do for just 1 minute a day. That targets the exact biological reason thigh fat is so stubborn, especially inner thighs, outer thighs, and the area that rubs together. No jumping, no sweating buckets, no knee pain, just the right signal applied consistently for 14 days. Why thigh fat is different from belly fat. Here's what most people don't understand. Thigh fat is protective fat. It's more sensitive to estrogen balance, insulin spikes, lymphatic congestion, stress hormones. That's why. Starving doesn't remove it. Cardio barely touches it. Aggressive workouts make it worse. Your body stores thigh fat as long-term insurance, not emergency fuel. So the goal is not to burn it aggressively. The goal is to lower the signals that defend it. Why jumping and HIIT backfire for thigh fat? High-impact workouts send this message. Threat detected. Stabilize the lower body. Your nervous system responds by tightening hip flexors, increasing cortisol, slowing fat release from thighs. That's why many people notice lean arms, flatter stomach, but thicker thighs. It's not fat-burning failure. It's miscommunication. The 1 minute exercise, no jumping. This is the standing inner, outer thigh activation hold. It looks simple. It feels calm. But biologically, it's powerful. How to do it? Stand tall, feet slightly wider than hip width, toes slightly turned out. Lower into a shallow squat, not deep. Shift weight evenly. Gently push knees outward. Engage thighs like you're resisting a band. Hold for 60 seconds. That's it. No bouncing, no pulsing, no speed, just controlled tension. Why this works, the science. This movement does 3 critical things at once. 1. Activates large thigh muscles without stress. Adductors, inner thighs. Abductors, outer thighs. Glutes, fat-burning support muscles. Large muscle activation equals higher local fat release. 2. Improves insulin sensitivity in the lower body. Thigh fat responds last when insulin is high. This exercise improves glucose uptake in thigh muscles, forcing your body to stop storing energy there. 3. Drains lymphatic fluid. Much of thigh fat is fluid retention, inflammation, trapped waste. Static holds gently pump lymph without cortisol spikes. What happens over 14 days? A realistic timeline. Let's set the right expectation. This is not a wake up skinny tomorrow promise. What happens over 14 days is more powerful. Your lower body physiology starts to change direction. Days 1 to 4, decompression phase. This is when most people say, something feels different, but I can't explain it yet. What's happening under the surface? Inflammation in the thigh tissue starts dropping. Lymphatic fluid begins draining instead of pooling. Muscles wake up after years of underuse. What you notice? Thighs feel firmer when you touch them. Less heaviness or dragging sensation when you walk. Reduced puffiness, especially in the evening. Your thighs aren't smaller yet. They're less inflamed and less congested. That's the foundation. Days 5 to 9, release phase. This is where visual changes start to show. By now, insulin sensitivity in the lower body improves. Your body becomes less defensive about storing energy in the thighs. Muscles begin pulling energy instead of fat cells hoarding it. What people commonly notice? Inner thighs separate slightly when standing relaxed. Less skin-on-skin rubbing while walking. Jeans, leggings, or skirts feel looser without weight loss. This is when people realize, okay, this is actually working. Not because fat is being forced out, but because the signal protecting it is weakening. Days 10 to 14, reshaping phase. Now the changes become obvious. At this stage, muscle tone increases without bulk. Fat cells start shrinking instead of refilling. Circulation improves, giving skin a smoother look. What you see in the mirror. Visible slimming from the front and side. Thighs look longer and more defined. Smoother skin texture, less dimpling. Legs feel lighter and more responsive. This is when clothes fit differently. not because of dramatic weight loss, but because body composition is shifting. The key truth: this isn't spot reduction magic. You're not burning thigh fat on command. You're doing something better. You're correcting the signals that told your body to hold onto it in the first place, lowering stress input, improving muscle activation, restoring metabolic trust. And once those signals change, fat loss becomes a byproduct, not a battle. That's why this works, and why it lasts. Why just 1 minute is enough. More time is not equal to better results. After 60 to 90 seconds, muscle fibers are fully activated. Insulin sensitivity peaks. Cortisol remains low. Going longer increases fatigue without benefit. That's why this works daily. Consistency beats intensity. How to boost results without extra exercise. If you want faster changes, after the hold, walk for 5 to 10 minutes. Keep breathing calm. Hydration. Water before the exercise improves lymph flow. Timing. Best done morning or early evening. Avoid late night high cortisol hours. What not to do during the 14-day challenge. This part matters more than most people realize. You can do the right exercise and still slow your results by sending the wrong stress signals the rest of the day. During these 14 days, avoid the following. 1. Jumping exercises. Jump squats, burpees, jump rope, even short bouts. Why? They spike cortisol quickly. They increase impact stress on the hips and thighs. They trigger a defensive fat storage response in the lower body. For thighs, impact is not equal to effectiveness. Calm, controlled tension works better. 2. Long HIIT sessions. HIIT has its place. This is not it. Extended HIIT drains glycogen aggressively, elevates stress hormones, increases water retention in the thighs. If your legs feel swollen after workouts, that's not fat burning. That's inflammation masking progress. 3. Extreme calorie cuts. This is the fastest way to stall thigh fat loss. When calories drop too hard, the brain interprets threat. Blood flow to non-essential areas decreases. Fat becomes harder, not easier, to mobilize. Especially in women, aggressive dieting tells the body, protect the hips and thighs at all costs. 4. Tight shapewear during the day. This one surprises people. Constant compression restricts lymphatic drainage, traps fluid in thigh tissue, prevents proper circulation. Shapewear may change how you look temporarily, but it slows the actual remodeling process underneath. The big picture. Thigh fat is highly sensitive to stress input. The more pressure you apply, extreme workouts, restriction, compression, the more the body holds on. This 14-day challenge works because it does the opposite. It creates safety, circulation, consistent signaling, and when the body feels safe, fat finally lets go. Why this works better for women and many men. Thigh fat isn't random. It's biologically programmed, especially in women. Why women store more fat in the thighs. Women naturally have a higher density of estrogen receptors in the hips and thighs. Fat storage patterns tied to reproductive safety and energy reserve. Greater sensitivity to stress signals in the lower body. From a survival perspective, thigh fat isn't extra. It's protected tissue. That's why aggressive dieting often fails. High-impact cardio backfires. Fat leaves everywhere else before the thighs. Your body is prioritizing survival, not aesthetics. This exercise works because it activates muscle without spiking cortisol, improves circulation without threat, sends a safe-to-release signal to estrogen-sensitive fat cells. Why many men struggle with thigh fat too. Men who hold fat in the thighs usually aren't dealing with estrogen dominance alone. They often have insulin resistance, especially in the lower body, underactive glutes and hamstrings, excessive sitting that shuts down muscle signaling. When those muscles stay offline, fat cells become the default storage site. This exercise reactivates large lower body muscles, glucose uptake into muscle, local fat usage instead of storage. No jumping, no exhaustion, just re-education of the tissue. Why the same exercise works for both. The goal isn't to fight hormones, it's to work with them. This movement, respects estrogen's role instead of triggering defense, restores insulin sensitivity, reawakens muscle fibers that control thigh shape. Once those systems are back online, fat loss becomes inevitable, not forced. That's why this works better for women, and why it finally works for many men who've tried everything else. Because the body doesn't respond to punishment. It responds to correct signaling. The 14-day challenge rules. This challenge works because it's focused, not complicated. For the next 14 days, follow these rules exactly. Not harder, not longer. 1 minute thigh hold every day. 1 minute. No skipping. This is the signal. It activates deep thigh and hip muscles. It increases local circulation. It tells fat cells they're no longer needed. Consistency matters more than duration. Daily exposure trains the tissue to stay active, not store. No jumping workouts. This is non-negotiable. Jumping spikes stress hormones, increases lower body inflammation, reinforces fat protection signals. For these 14 days, calm tension beats intensity. Walk every day. Walking is not optional, it's therapeutic. Daily walking improves lymphatic drainage in the thighs, enhances insulin sensitivity, reduces fluid retention. Think of walking as the cleanup crew that allows the exercise to work. Eat calmly, no starvation. You are not trying to scare fat away. Eating calmly lowers cortisol, improves digestion, stabilizes hormones. Extreme restriction tells the body, hold on to thigh fat harder. Steady nourishment tells it, you're safe. That's the challenge. No extra workouts, no calorie obsession, no punishment, just 1 minute. Every day, with the right signals, give your body 14 days, and let it show you what happens when you finally stop fighting it. Thigh fat doesn't leave when you attack it. It leaves when your body feels safe enough to release it. This 1 minute exercise sends the right message. Strength without threat, activation without stress, change without punishment. Do it daily for 14 days. Let your thighs respond naturally. If this helped you, like the video so more people see it. Subscribe for science-based fat loss that actually works. Comment 14-day challenge. If you're starting today, I'll pin a few. And share this with someone who's tired of jumping workouts that don't work. Your slim thighs don't come from suffering. They come from alignment.